Welcome to my channel. Now, as some of you know, I had created a video that I'm going to be studying for the PL-200, but I decided to put that on a burner. Not on a burner because I'm taking a class towards the end of this month, a 5-day course on the PL-200, and then I can go take the exam. So, in the waiting period, I'm just going to be studying for the PL-900. It's the foundational. And I came across something on Microsoft Learn that finally made things click for me. And here's what I mean by that. You know, for the last 3, 4, 5 years that I've been developing in Canvas apps, I never really understood what the model-driven application was. I've gone in and I've tried to play with it, but it just never clicked for me. I didn't know what the purpose of it was for. Until I started studying for the PL-900 and I came across this. Let me share my screen with you really quick. So I was on Microsoft Learn, and as I was reading through these, I'm going through all of these different modules, and as I came across this right here, it says, in most cases, model-driven applications are used as management applications. And I was like, well, okay. And it started, and it went through this example here and kind of went through a few things. And then I came towards the end of the module and I saw this last one here. It says, when building solutions with Power Apps, it's often about identifying what users are going to need an application to do and then designing the applications accordingly. Now here's the key right here. It says, most often a solution contains a combination of both Canvas and model-driven apps. And that's when everything just kind of, it was like that piece of a puzzle that I've been missing that just made everything make sense. It made sense for me. That's when I finally understood the real purpose of model-driven apps and how when you combine them with Canvas apps, you can build powerful solutions quickly and efficiently if, of course, you're using Dataverse. Because as you know, the model-driven app, its data source is the Dataverse. So in this video, if you really want to understand Power Apps, that is the Canvas and the model-driven, or you're studying for PL-900, stick around. I'll share some useful tip at the end of this video that might just help you on the exam if you plan on taking it. Now, what exactly is a management application? So, according to Microsoft says that model-driven apps are used as management applications. And what they're referring to is that apps that are designed for internal users. So the internal users can be managers, analysts, coordinators, administrators. They basically take that data that is in Dataverse and they manage that data. And it's typically used for viewing, so basically monitoring, approving, reporting, maintaining the data that's entered into the system from somewhere else. Now, what is that somewhere else? That somewhere else can be a Canvas app or a Power Pages app. Now, as you know, a Canvas app, it can have many data sources. One which is Dataverse, and then the Power Pages basically is built on top of Dataverse. So with that said, the model-driven app basically manages the data that comes from those two different locations. I hope that makes sense. Now, so model-driven apps, they basically provide views, filters, charts for data analysis. It also provides business rules, process flows to enforce consistency. It has security roles to control who can view edit records, dashboard for oversight and metrics. To do all these things I just mentioned, it's easier to do those things in a model-driven app than in a Canvas app, because a Canvas app is basically, it's flexible. It allows you to customize. And just the fact that I said customize, that means you have to put a little bit of work into it. So, let me show you something really quick. So let me show you something else. So I'm going to come over here. Let's look at, I have this document here. Here are the Canvas app characteristics compared to the model-driven app. So if you want design freedom, that'll be the Canvas app, you know, full control, drag and drop buttons, forms, galleries, icons, etc. For the model-driven app, auto-generated layout based on the Dataverse tables. For the user experience, it's like I mentioned, it's Canvas app. It's highly customizable, perfect for mobile, tablet, and other specific roles. The model-driven app, it has this consistent and standardized, and is less visually appealing, to be honest with you. So you don't have a lot of freedom in a model-driven app like you do with the Canvas app. Data source, as I mentioned earlier, you can connect up to 400 plus connectors: SharePoint, SQL Server. You have Excel, Dataverse, a slew of plethora of different data sources. With a model-driven app, primarily is just Dataverse, structured relational data, business logic. So with this feature, you have the Canvas app uses formulas like Excel for logic and interactivity. The model-driven app, you have business rules, workflows, and process flows. The ideal user for the Canvas app is the frontline workers, employees submitting data, those specific roles where they have a form that is built in the Canvas app, and they submit their data within that app into Dataverse. And that's if you're using Dataverse. Now, in the model-driven app, the users are usually managers, analysts, supervisors, and they manage the data. Now, let's look at something else here. Now, here are example scenarios between the Canvas app and the model-driven app. So, you guys have seen these scenarios before. You have an IT help desk used by employees to submit issues, right? On the back end, you can use the model-driven app where they can, the IT managers use to view, assign, and then resolve tickets. Let's look at a travel request system used by employees to submit travel requests. On the back end, used by managers, approvers to review requests, approve, reject, and track overall travel data. Look at expense reporting used by employees to log expenses. On the back end, used by finance admin team to audit, approve, and generate reports. So for project tracking, used by field workers to update project progress. On the back end, with a model-driven app, by management, used by project managers to monitor milestones and performance dashboards. So I hope you guys see a little theme here. Basically, the Canvas app is great for submitting issues, submitting data to a Dataverse if you're using Dataverse as your data source. And then on the back end with the model-driven app, you can easily create views, you can create different types of forms, you can easily embed data analytics, like you can use Power BI. Dataverse has its own data metrics that you can use. So all that stuff is used. So that's why at the end of this, at that right here, it says most often a solution contains a combination of both Canvas and model-driven apps. And I hope that all made sense for you guys. Now, I hope that made sense. So here's a tip to remember. Whenever you're building with a Dataverse, think both. If your Canvas app is using Dataverse, use both as a solution. Use a Canvas app for your data entry, and then use the model-driven app as a place where you go and you manage that data. So use a model-driven app for management and Canvas app for data entry. And if you see a PL-900 question about managing data, always lean toward model-driven apps. Now, thanks for watching, but I want you guys to subscribe and to like my videos. Put in the comments, I would like to know how you use model-driven apps and Canvas apps. Do you use both? Do you use one? Do you use the model-driven app for your data entry and for your management? Or do you use a Canvas app, if you're using Dataverse? Come back later. I'm gonna subscribe to my channel, because I'm actually gonna be creating an application where I use both, because I just had that epiphany, like I told you earlier, that it all clicked for me. So I'm gonna create an application that uses both, so that you can see how easy it is, how it works. So thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.